There's magic in creating unique marks on cloth and paper. Hi, I'm Leslie Tucker Jennison. I'm a mixed media textile artist, and I love using items that have originally had a different purpose. Today I will show you several methods of achieving interesting marks on both paper and cloth. First, I'd like to talk to you about some of the tools that will be pretty universal in all the different things we're going to talk about. I'd like to start by showing you a pair of gloves. I use this type. Any household glove will work just very well for this. You want to have plenty of pins. I always think it's good to have some extra just scrap cloths that you can use to wipe your tools off with from dye or paint. A pair of scissors and some pins is a good idea. I wanted to show you a variety of the different squeegees that you can use. This is a fairly traditional looking screen printing squeegee. These are actually squeegees that are used as, I think they're wallpaper scrapers from a Home Depot type place. And last but not least, you can use a hotel room key or a fake credit card that you might have left over from a trip. Those work really well as squeegees on smaller screens. This is a paint spatula, and I use that for mixing paint. You want a mask, which we'll talk about in a little while. And then this looks like kitchen tools, because that's exactly what they are, and they're very useful when you're doing surface design. This is good for scraping wax, getting thickened dye out of a container, measuring water and dye. The container in front there is what a container of dye pigment looks like before it's been mixed into water or print paste. This is also a kitchen tool that I like to use. It's a hand mixer. Cooks call it a boat motor. It's great for mixing print paste and chemical water. The other thing that's important to have on hand is plenty of plastic. You want to be sure you're protecting your table surface, and also you want to have an extra piece of plastic to place your just printed items onto. Finally, here's a couple of silk screens that I have. One of these has obviously seen some use already. I wanted to talk about the screen because it's important to have the screen covered with, this is duct tape. It's important to do this at least 24 hours before you're going to use it, because the tape needs to cure. And if you start using it immediately, the tape will loosen almost immediately. So these are two. There are many sizes of screens. I like to use a variety of sizes in my work. Finally, this is the print surface that I like to use. You can get this at, again, Home Depot is perfect for these. This is basically a piece of compressed foam insulation, and I like to put a piece of felt over the surface of that. It gives it a little bit of sponge. You don't want too much of a give on the surface, but it's important to have a little bit of give when you're doing print work. And I like to cover my surfaces with both a sheet of plastic, and then this is just a piece of old sheeting that I had at home that I use as a drop cloth, which will pick up any dye drips, etc., and keep it off my table surface. It's important to make sure your entire table surface is covered with something. You don't want paint and dye getting on the surfaces of things. And also, if you're working in an environment that has carpet or you need to protect the floor, be sure that you've got some sort of a drop cloth down on the floor that is not something you're going to be tripping over. You want to be safe while you're working. So we'll come back next with a little bit of information about safety.